Okay, well, today I thought we'd talk about how to air down your tires, when's the proper time to do it, and how to do it. I just had a hard stent put in here within the last week, and I'm going to Colorado the end of this month, and so for elk hunting. Got another stent. They wanted me to miss my elk hunt. Anyway, long story short, I got my stuff out, and I was going over what I'm taking with me, and I thought I might go over why you want to air down and what you need to air down. Why do you air down, and when do you air down? So I thought after pulling out my stuff, I thought I'd go over a little quick block of instruction for those who may not think about airing down when you go into mud, sand, especially snow, and how it can help you. First of all, start off with when you should air down. So you probably want to air down your tires before you go into mud or go into deep snow. And the reason you do that is you get better traction. Your tires are more flexible, and when you do that, you take and you elongate this way, so you get more of a tread pattern on the ground, and you also go a little bit wider. You get a lot more length in it than you do wide, but it also gives you a more traction because it's more flexible and allows you to ride on top of the snow or on top of the mud, and allows it to get better traction. The only time you don't really want to air down is if you're on icy roads or and that is if you have the winter snow tires, which have the mountain on it and the snowflake on it, that are rated. They have sipes in them, little tiny splits in the tires, and I can show you on the other tires here, but I already did that in another video. It allows you to get traction on the snow and in the ice a little bit better than a standard mud tire like this is. So we're going to go over basically how low you can go with the tires, how much you should let out, and when you should use it. So again, if you're going on just snow or icy roads that just have a little bit of snow on it, less than 5 inches, 6 inches, something like that, you don't necessarily have to need to air down if you have snow rated tires with the mountain on it and the snowflake. If you don't, however, it's a good idea to air down and you get better traction. In some cases on icy packed roads, you're going to want chains, and that's a whole other thing we can discuss another time. I've got chains, and there's a time for those also, but not in deep snow and not necessarily in mud where you get stuck. So if you come into a situation, you're going elk hunting or whatever, late season, or even you just get dumped with about a foot of snow, and you want to make sure you don't get stuck, you'll air your tires down. So if your standard tire is something like these here, a 33-inch tire or a 31-inch tire, say a 2065 or 2085 or a 17-inch, whatever, basically those tires are running 35 to 32 pounds of pressure. You're best to drop those down to 10 to 12 pounds. I put my minimum at 10 pounds, and that's worked great for me over the years, because if you go more than 10 pounds, you have a tendency where you can take and de-rim the tire. Basically, if you're in a rut and you start turning your tire and you're less than 10 pounds, there's a possibility you could pop the rim here off the tire off the rim, and then you're stuck out there. Now, I've done that back in the year. I used to four-wheel a lot of snow wheeling. I was born and raised up in Wisconsin, and we did a lot of crazy stuff back in the day. We didn't have what they call bead lockers. Now, this is not an actual bead locker. It's a poser. It's not a real bead locker. But a real bead locker, the screws would go through here and into the bead, into the actual rubber of the tire with a little lag bolt or screw. And like these would be here, they would actually hold that so that if you turn left or right, it would flex, but it would hold that tire on so that it wouldn't come off the rim. Most of us don't have that unless you're off-roading, you're going to Moab, Utah, or something like that, and you're rock crawling like my neighbors do. You don't need that kind of stuff, What we would do back in the day, little tip for y'all, we'd carry a can of hairspray. And as corny as it sounds, if you would de-rim your tire, it's impossible, right, to get it back on. Well, what we do out in the field is we jack the vehicle up, take the can of hairspray, spray it into the empty tire, and you got the tire at least on the rim, you push it back in onto the rim, put the hairspray in there, and then do the most dangerous thing, you light it. Well, the small explosion that's created from the expansion of the gases puts the tire back on there. It works. I've done it a bunch of times. You might burn your fingers a little bit when that hairspray fluid, but you can do that with any kind of aerosol. In a pinch, I'm just giving you that tip. I don't recommend it. It's something we did back in the day when we were younger and we were kids, but you can do that in a pinch if you de-rim your tire, trying to spin it out of mud or something like that. Get down there, lift the vehicle up, push it back on the rim, get it back on the rim, but the bead is not sealed. Spray it with some kind of aerosol, light it, poof, it'll actually put the rim back on there, just like as if you were inflating it with a high pressure hose at a gas station. Okay, so let's get to how do you air down the tire. It's pretty simple. Everybody knows that. Make sure you save your caps. Make sure you leave your caps on there. You don't want mud and snow to get in these. But I've already removed the cap on this. Now you can do it a simple way. Cheap air tool like this. It's got a little detent on the side. You come up here and you can, you know, let air pressure out of your tires and then check your air pressure, see what it's at. Or you can spend 25 bucks and get an ARB gauge like this, and you can put it on, push the button, and it's slow. It takes a little while, but you hold the button in and it'll depressurize it for you. These are nice, they're 25 bucks, but you gotta hold it the whole time to get the air pressure out. It's a good, I have one of these in each of my vehicles. It's a good thing. Keep accurate air pressure in your tires so you have all the same air pressure. Again, I recommend you go down to 12 to 10 pounds. 10 pounds is where I usually set my tires at, even on my small tires. Some people say you take these big tires down to 5 and 4 without having a bed welded rim. I wouldn't recommend it, because if you get stuck in a rut and you take your tire off, you pull your tire off your rim, then you're stuck. Other ways you can do this, if you want to spend a little money, I recommend the Vi-Air. It's a quick little tool, and I'll show you how this one works. This one's 20 bucks, $19.95. You screw it onto the tire rim like this. And once it's on, it'll give you your pressure reading. All right, so we're at 25 pounds. Now you want the air pressure out, all you do is go turn this, and you can leave it alone and it'll depressurize it. So when you want to stop it, you just pull it off and you check your pressure. It's not bad for 20 bucks. It is slow. It takes anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes to do it with this. These are similar to the valves that you can buy, Strout or whatever. I can't think the exact name of them, but you can buy them pretty cheap online. They're like a little brass valve about this long that goes on there, and you can set them to the pressure you want. A lot of guys throw those on their tires when they get out to the site, and it'll air down your tires. Those take about 9 minutes, 8 to 9 minutes to air down. But you got to carry those 4 little things with you, and you can lose them, drop them in the mud. I like one tool you can use. It takes a little longer. The best one, and this is my favorite, this is the ARB, and there's other companies that make it, but ARB makes a pretty quality one. And the way this one works is, if you see here, it's got the little tool in the center that grabs the valve stem, which is in here. And it will actually remove the valve stem, and as you pull it back, it puts the valve stem up in this chamber and holds it in there. It keeps the valve stem out of the way, so it deflates the tire very fast, probably within no more than 3 minutes to completely deflate the tire. And then once you're done, when you get your pressure, you can stop it. I'm gonna show you how that one works. So this one here, you basically just screw it onto your thing, just like the other one. On, I can't see. There we go. So you screw it on there like that. Now, once you've got it on, the gauge isn't showing anything. So you take this, you turn it in, you go counterclockwise, find your valve stem. Now I've just filled the valve stem. I turn it, and I'm going to unscrew it. You'll hear the air start to come out. Once you feel this push back, now the valve stem is completely out. And you can watch your air gauge. You want to stop it, you push this in, it stops it. You want to deflate, push it out, stop it, check your pressure, you see where your pressure's at. Again, let air pressure out. And this is relatively fast. You can do this in under 3 minutes, deflate your tire down to 0. When you want to go back in, you push the valve stem in, you screw it. It's this simple. Boom. Don't over tighten. Put your valve stem in. Now you're done. What you do, you just unscrew it. You're done. And of course, you may want to check your air pressures. Again, just to double check to make sure that they're down to where you want them. But I really like the ARB. Other companies make these. I think there's one Rocky Mountain or whatever, like 28 bucks. These are like 40 something. I like the ARB. They're a little bit better quality. Comes in a little bag. I also like the Vi-Air. Great tool for 20 bucks. Or you can do it by hand, whatever you want to do. I highly recommend, though, that whatever you get yourself one of these. And this is the cheapest one they make. It's a Vi-Air. It's an 85 or 85P. It'll inflate this tire completely empty. And it keeps this small bag here. Within less than 3 minutes, I can inflate this tire that's down to 10 pounds. I can bring it back up to 35 pounds of pressure in probably about 3 minutes. If it's fully empty, it may take up to 10 minutes. But you can do each tire, it plugs into the electrical outlet. And this is my cheap one. This one I bought originally for my wife's car. And it works so good, I take it as a spare when I go hunting. So I have two. I have my high pressure one, which is like 300 CFM one, and it'll inflate tires out much quicker. These big tires, like in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, when they're completely bid. But it's more expensive. It depends how much you want to spend. But I recommend at least those are $65 to $79, depending on which one you get. I highly recommend Viair. They're good products. They last. It's good stuff. I recommend you get a Arb pressure gauge, you know, for your car. I know it seems like a lot of stuff, but you can read it. When you're old like me and you got glaucoma, you can read what your pressure's at. And so you can drop that down to 10 pounds. You know where you're at. I only went to about 12 on that one, but you can see how quickly I went from 35 down to 12 pounds just messing around like that. So basically, when you want to do that, like I say, if you look ahead and your snow is real deep, you want to do it before you get stuck. You drop it down to that 10 pounds so you can get traction. You'll notice a major difference in it. I can tell you, it'll ride on top of that snow a lot. We used to snow wheel in snow that was 2 or 3 feet deep back in the day. And your tires, you'll get flotation, even if they're smaller tires, smaller profile, only a 10-inch profile, they will definitely ride on top of that snow and you'll have flotation and get traction. I highly recommend that you drop them down to at least 10, 12 pounds if you're uncomfortable. 10 pounds is the best place to be at. And if you're crawling over rocks or whatever, same thing, it'll give you a smoother ride. And mud, the same thing, it'll get on top of that mud, grab a little more traction, flex around rocks and stuff and allow you to get traction. The thing you have to remember is when you go down, for every pound of air pressure you drop, you lose 100 pounds of weight capacity. So if your tire, say, is rated at 2,600 pounds load capacity, and you drop that, every pound you drop is like 100 or 110 pounds of weight that you lose that you can safely put in your tires. It's not a problem for most people because your tires are well rated over what you're going to haul, but for people that may be hauling a trailer or whatever, they have to be concerned if they air it down too much that they could do that. The other thing, make sure you air your tires up before you hit the hard ball, because once you hit the hard ball, hit the hard pavement, your speed increases. Your sidewall flex on a low tire will destroy your tire. It could blow out on you. Make sure when you get back to hardball, you at least go in there and put 32 pounds in there and get it back up to, and that's where you need that compressor. It may take you 10 or 12, 15 minutes, but I highly recommend you do it. If you ever get stuck, dig out from underneath where you're at, front and back of your tires, air down your tires to 10 pounds, and I guarantee you get yourself out of that rut. You don't necessarily have to do it. You have somebody pull you out or winch you out. A lot of times if you're by yourself, you can do it just by airing your tires down to 10 PSI, and they'll give you some traction. Well, that's my video. I hope to do an elk hunting video coming up here in Colorado the month coming up, and we'll see you.